So what we're going to do is write an equation in slope-intercept form. Now, the answer has to be in slope-intercept form. That's what they say here. Okay? It has to go through the given point. So they're going to give me a point. And it has to be parallel. Now, what did we just talk about as far as parallel goes? What do we know about parallel?
It has same slope.
Same slope. So I know right now I'm going to be looking for something with the same slope. If I look at number 1, they've given me a line. Can I determine the slope of that line?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. A couple different ways. One is I could just count rise over run. Or two, didn't they give me the equation?
Yep.
So what's the slope of this equation?
Y equals x minus 8.
Well, the slope itself, though, is just the number
0.
1. It's the number 1 in front. So I can see that the slope of this line, my m, is 1. So I want to have the same slope for my line, so my slope needs to be 1. If their slope is 1, then my slope has to be 1. Now, what point do I have to go through? I have to go through the point 5, 1. That's what they gave me right here. So the first thing I've done is just to determine what it is I'm looking for. I'm looking for a line that goes through 5, 1 and has a slope of 1. Well, wait, this is just like yesterday's work. I should start with point slope form and then change my answer to slope intercept form. So some of you are good at point slope form. Let's fill in the blanks.
1 equals 1 times x minus 5.
Correct. So there's my point slope form. Nice job. And now I just need to change that over into slope intercept. So a little distributive. And I've got y minus 1 equals x minus 5. And then I need to get rid of this negative 1. So I add 1 to both sides. And I'm left with y equals x minus 4. And if I did things correctly, that should be the equation that goes through the point 5, 1 and is parallel to that green line. Now, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to check it. So I'm going to check it by graphing this line. We know how to graph this line. We did it all last year. I'm going to start at -4 and then go up 1 over 1, right? So I'm just going to check my work by doing that. I'm going to start at -4. So I come down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Does it go through the point 5, 1?
Yep.
It sure does. Are those two lines parallel?
Yep.
Yes. So I've done what they asked me to do. Now again, you don't have to do that, but it is a nice check.
So
He says we want to use their m right here in my line. So what is their m? What is the slope of their line? Their slope is, on number 2, their slope is -1/2. So I'm going to use their slope of -1/2 in my line. So I'm going to use -1/2. What point am I going to go through? The point -8, 7, because that's the point they asked me to go through. So I'm going to go through the point -8, 7. And from here on out, this is just like earlier days' work. I'm just going to use point slope form. Now, do I need to write it again? Okay, it is right here. Can we just, if we can just fill in the blanks, it'll save us a little time. Okay, just go ahead and fill in the numbers.
y minus 7. Minus 1/2.
What's the m? Yep, -1/2. X minus -8. And some of you, remember, are good enough you don't have to write minus negative anymore. What is minus negative? It's just plus, right? Which is fine. Distributive property, change it to y equals. So that's y minus 7 equals negative 1/2 x. And of course, now I've got negative 1/2 times 8. What's half of 8?
4.
Okay, so that's minus 4. And finally, get rid of the minus 7.
Equals plus 3.
So when I add that, I end up with y equals
Equals negative 1/2 x plus 3.
plus 3. I'm just going to check this because I can. I start at positive 3, which is actually here. Notice the scale's different? Did you notice the scale?
Sure.
They're counting by 2's, right? And I'm going to go down 1 over 2. That's here. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Does that look like it might be parallel? Yeah, but does it go through 8, 7? Let's work it backwards. How about here, here,
Yeah, it comes to
here? Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it? So I feel pretty good about that. It looks parallel, and it definitely goes through my point. Okay, so we notice on number 3 that they've given us this line in standard form, which does not give us the slope. I could always count rise over run, though. So if I choose this point and this point, then I can just count rise over run, and it ends up rising 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I've got a slope of rise 4, run 3. Okay? Once you have your slope, you're in good shape. Now, I do want to take a sidebar for a second. Is that the only way to find this slope? No. What I could have also done, and I will have to do later on different problems, I think problem number 8 and 9 and 10 and 11, I'm going to have to take this equation and change it to y equals mx plus b. How would I do that? How do you get this equation right here changed to y equals mx plus b? The original equation is 4x minus 3y equals negative 12.
You add the y, so do 3y.
Remember.
We can't
Well,
have a
I actually
fraction
want to
of
get
y
y by itself. So let's get rid of the 4x by subtracting it. So if I subtract 4x from both sides, those would go away, and I'd be left with negative 3y equals negative 4x minus 12. Because those, okay, then I would divide everything by negative 3. That goes away.
You can have a fraction in the slope-intercept, right?
Negative over negative makes that positive, so it's positive 4/3 x. And again, negative 12 over negative 3 gives me positive 4. And now this is slope-intercept, right? Look, what's the slope of this? 4/3, right? Isn't that what we found over here? So yes. I know if you have a picture of a graph, it's way faster just to count rise and run. But down on the bottom, you don't have pictures, do you? So we are going to have to do it this way on the bottom. So my slope is 4/3, so that's the new slope I must use. And what point do you want to use? We have no choice. What point are we using? Negative 3, 3. So we're going to write an equation that goes through those now. And if I have enough room, I'm going to try to fit it in right here. So that's y minus 3 equals 4/3 x plus 3, right? Because you have the minus minus. When you distribute, you'll get y minus 3 equals 4/3 x plus 4. A little bit sloppy. And then when you get rid of this minus 3, you add 3, you're going to get y equals 4/3 x. And I added 3 to both sides, so it's plus 7. Hopefully, This is my answer. I'm going to double check it. If it'll fit on my graph, I'm not sure it's going to fit on my graph. Plus 7, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is right there. And 4/3 would be up 4 over 3. So I'm going to work that backwards. I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, over 3, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yep, it's right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It does work. Okay?